Hello, and welcome to News 500. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Rialina.
And these are the headlines.
Boobs bounce back into page 3.
Confusion as pranksters send delivery pizza to a protest in Paris in the name of Charlie.
And Prince Andrew says he has nothing to hide. Of course not. He has people to do that stuff for him.
Scientists have created a metal that water bounces off. Its main practical use will be in the manufacture of aeroplanes for Malaysian Airways.
A hoax call got through to David Cameron. He realized it was a prank when the caller told him he was on course for a clear majority in the May election.
Lance Armstrong has said he thinks it's time people forgave him for taking drugs to win the Tour de France. Wow, the ball on that guy.
He added that if he had to go back in time, he'd do it again, because that was the norm in the 1990s. He said a similar thing after watching 12 Years a Slave.
I haven't seen the first 11. The studies have shown that sexism is making women sick. However, studies also show women are better at fighting off sickness, so they shouldn't worry their pretty little heads about it.
You think I'm pretty? The NHS has released a recruitment video to convince medical students that being a GP is not a dull career. We've got a short clip of it here.
Well, that one's all right.
Julia Roberts says people aren't as nice in Hollywood as they were when she started out. But then she doesn't look the way she looked 20 years ago.
Sorry. Just the sexism. The Pope has come out against the iPhone 6 Plus. While he is thought to be more progressive than his predecessor, he is still against benders.
The Reverend Paul Williamson, who heckled Libby Lane during her ordination at York Minster, has been called a wanker by critics on social media. That explains why he was bashing the bishop.
Gary Glitter said that he could not have assaulted a female fan after a show in 1976 because he was too busy cleaning his wig. Cynics have said that this is no defense and that he is just splitting hairs.
A man from Ireland claimed to have permanent déjà vu as he was constantly confronted with the feeling he'd seen everything he was seeing before. Tess revealed he was actually watching BBC One.
And a man from Ireland claimed to have permanent déjà vu as he was constantly confronted with the feeling he'd seen everything that he was seeing before. Tess revealed he was actually watching BBC One.
Researchers have announced evidence of post-traumatic stress disorder that can be traced back to 1300 BC, much earlier than previously thought. To tell us more, we're joined by Ancient Stuff correspondent Eric McElroy.
Ancient stuff.
Steve.
Is that some sort of ancient greeting?
No, I just had beans for breakfast.
Can you tell us more about this ancient stress?
Yes, Steve. Ancient cultures had many of the same stresses we do today. One subject clearly struggled to impress his boss at the local rock quarry.
Wow, you can get that specific.
Of course. We can see the same man had concerns about his daughter dating his best friend's son, who was a bit of a lout. He also struggled with putting the cat out, as the cat often ended up putting him out.
Hold on, you're just describing the characters from the Flintstones.
No. All right. Look, Steve, what do you expect me to say? This shit happened 3,000 years ago. Who cares if they were stressed? You want to know what stress is? Coming up with crap to say to you every week. This is stupid anyway. How could we possibly know what they were doing that long ago? I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, except I know it wasn't beans. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Eric. Grrr to you as well.
Benedict Cumberbatch has had to apologize after using the term colored actors in a discussion about racial inequality in the performing arts. Given how little they work, it was inappropriate to refer to them as actors. A more appropriate term perhaps is waitress or barista.
A sex theme park where tourists can ride astride gigantic stone penises with realistic scrotums is under construction in Taiwan. Apparently there's also a clitoris ride, but I couldn't find it. And as you go to leave, there's a big sign that says "Come again," so I was there all day.
I knew.
It was hard to get in, but I had been drinking, to be fair. So I tried to sneak around the back and I weren't happy with that. That park is a lot like real sex. It's expensive. It's a lot like real sex because it's fun, but it's annoying when you have to queue up behind other dudes. That park is a lot like real sex. It should have a height restriction.
And apparently I don't have to be there. A new Iraqi reality TV concept shows families of bomb victims meeting the bombers who killed their relatives. It's based on a show from the UK featuring a group of violent oppressors and their opponents. It was called the Scottish Referendum.
In other news, a big setback in the EU as Greece elected a brand new far-left party. Angela Merkel had never even heard of the party leader and asked, "Who's o' that?" David Cameron didn't know either and said, "I pity the fool that takes over Greece." This prompted much Taramasa laughter. And that's it for this week's News 500. To get your regular fix, subscribe now. The week's news in 500 seconds.